everyone, it's Amy. Welcome back to my next Q&A, I think number 17, and I'm so sorry that it's been a while since I filmed. Just been a little bit busy. Christine Sol B. Mijares, is there ever a certain amount of years when it stops getting more patina, or will it always turn darker than honey patina? I don't think there is a point where it actually stops per se, just because patina comes with, you know, the environment. If you live in an area that is more humid and more sunny, I feel like your bag will patina faster. Whereas if you live in an area that is, you know, not as humid, more like a mild climate and not as humid, colder perhaps, it will probably take a lot longer to patina. And it depends on your usage as well. So even when you don't use your bag, it will still patina on its own, but just really slow, so slow that you might not even notice. I've seen so many vintage bags, either online or in person, where the patina is so dark brown. When it gets to that dark brown stage, that's when your bag is probably older than a person's. Kathia da Silva, where is the date code in the Pochette Metis? And why does yours have a small pocket inside in the second part where it has the LV logo and others don't? This bag has gone through several iterations, I believe. I don't know exactly when, but the first iteration was like this, with the stiffer canvas, with the extra pocket inside, and with the leather tab on the zipper pull in the back. The iteration after that, I believe they started removing the pocket inside and then removed the zipper here, and eventually they even changed the canvas, which became not as structured as my one, which is, you can see, like, it doesn't really, like the other ones, the new ones, you can see that the bottom, it actually kind of sags like this. I actually do prefer the older version a little bit more, just because I like how boxy it looks. But I'm sure they have their own reasons. LV has their own reasons for changing it to the softer canvas. But I do think that removing the little pocket inside here, as well as removing the zipper pull leather tab in the back, is kind of cutting costs in my opinion. If you open all the zipper all the way, it's on the same side as the zipper pull where it ends, and it's right here on the side. As I said to you, a lot of the date codes, they're just in really obscure and really hard to find places. You just kind of have to, like, if you don't see it at a glance, then you just have to look for the pockets and the sides especially. La Bag Lady, hi Amy, do you find that the Neverfull straps dig into your arm? So my Neverfull is in the Vachetta leather because I have it in the monogram version. And with Vachetta, the leather is so buttery soft just to begin with. Of course, they're a little bit harder when they're brand new, and even then I didn't find that it was an issue for me personally. I have quite sensitive shoulders and skin. I think a lot of my viewers know that. With all my bags, I have Vachetta shoulder straps, such as my Noe and my Neverfull, never gave me any issues. Even when I just wore it with like a thin sort of tank top, you know, not like a jacket like this, it never gave me a trouble. So I think unless you go with a different leather, such as the demi-ebene in your case, or perhaps the epi leather, because that's also available for the Neverfull, they might dig into your arm or your shoulder. A. Clark, an LV store manager told me that when I went to get my new wallet, that Emily wallets are made from thinner canvas, intended for the younger market entering LV, and it is not a wallet that will last as long as wallets like the classic Zippy. Perhaps this explains why the quality issue. And also another viewer said, actually it is true, glazing, edge painting, lacquering is prone to cracking due to use and weather conditions, especially in humid conditions, even if the bag is not used often. But over time in such storage conditions, cracking will happen no matter which brand it is, because it is just a mixture of glue and dye to cover up the raw stitching marks from applying the outer layer and inner layer of the bag. So the LV response that I got for my normal wear and tear of my Pochette Metis, so referring to the second wear and tear video of my Pochette Metis, is technically true and nothing else can be done. If you live in an area with high humidity and you're not storing it properly, then it will for sure happen faster. And I'm not saying that it should not happen ever at all. I do agree that it, you know, eventually it will happen. I just don't agree that it should happen so quickly. And that was also what, you know, I was, you know, talking about in my video, in my second repair video, where I had to take this bag again back to LV because the new glazing that they've done just under a year ago, I think it was about 9 months or 8 months, has started peeling already. And that doesn't make any sense because yes, it was in storage and I haven't used it that many times ever since I got the new glazing, but that is not normal. That's what I'm arguing, that something that is pretty much new, brand new glazing, should also be, you know, there should be some sort of warranty, and it should not happen that fast. Because why only here, or why only certain corners, right? Why not on the straps? Why not on any of the other bags that I have that have glazing? Why didn't they break? And it's been more than a year that I have them, or several years that I have them. So I do think that there is some sort of quality issues with certain items. Jennifer Jones, do you store your Neverfull in the overhead locker or under the seat? I want to get one for traveling, but I am worried about getting it squashed. So that's in response to the video that I made recently about my what's in my bag traveling edition, and I'll link it below. I brought my Neverfull and I used that on the airplane as my sort of additional item, and I had no issues putting it under my seat. And the reason is because I also brought my dust bag from Clover Sack, but you can bring any dust bag. I just like the one that I have from Clover Sack because it's a large dust bag with a drawstring, so I was able to protect it well. Just you know, tighten up the drawstring and put that under the seat in front of me, and I had no issues. It wasn't squashing it really. I think it was just like the perfect height under the chair. Pisces Ming, and she typed the question in Chinese, so I sort of, you know, can read Chinese, but not like perfectly. So sometimes I might not understand if I don't know the vocabulary used to start a collection, what kind of first type of bags, that luxury bags that they should get. And I feel that LV, Louis Vuitton is an excellent brand to start with. Of course, there's so many luxe brands out there, but I personally love Louis Vuitton, and I feel like it's one of those brands where it has a really good balance of being really hard wearing, a really well-rounded brand to start with, and their price point is not too bad, you know, especially for the canvas bags. I would still go back to the classics, either the Neverfull in the MM size, I would personally choose that one, or a Speedy B. I know Vachetta is a bit scary, but I feel like within more or less entry-level bag, which are the two that I just mentioned, they are you know, a good bag to experiment the brand and to get to know the leather. But of course, you can always go with a Milben if that's your style, and of course it's a little bit more carefree in general. If you want to make an investment purchase, which as your first bag and you have the means to do it, I also suggest you go with Chanel and buy one of their classic flaps. Okay, I'm back with no jacket because I'm a little bit warm. Just came back from dinner, had to interrupt. Cape Cod Belle, I love everything you got from your Chanel haul. Do you have an item number or code for the earrings you're wearing? Which are these one, by the way. They look perfect. Also, Chanel brooches have become very popular with YouTubers. With the brooch, will the brooch damage or leave holes in your clothes when you wear it? So with regards to my earrings here that I'm wearing, I did eventually leave the style code underneath the same video that I made for my birthday haul. And as your question with the brooch, they do and will damage certain clothing depending on the fabric. On something like this, like a more robust kind of like almost tweed wool material, then it's fine. I definitely don't recommend you putting it on any fine sort of fabric, such as, you know, fine blouses or like dresses with, you know, really very tightly knit polyester, or even very like soft jersey and cotton, because those will definitely get damaged in my opinion. And just to show you, this is the pin size. So it's not super big, but it's not small at all. So for sure it will, you know, somewhat damage a very, very fine material, any material that is very tightly knit. But I definitely think that these brooches are to die for, and they really get addictive. Fiora 1951, hi Amy, if you could buy only one, would you choose the Neverfull MM or the Petit Noe, and why? I think that was one of my dilemmas also when I first bought these two bags. I bought these two bags around the same time, honestly, and I bought one after another because I wanted a Neverfull for the longest time, for many years, but held off because I was always wary about the fact that it's an open tote. I always favored bags with zippers, so I actually bought my Petit Noe first, and then a few days later I went back and bought my Neverfull. Having owned and used both bags for some period of time now, I can safely say that they're both equally good, and it's really a matter of preference. For me personally, I see myself and I also feel like I reach for the Neverfull a lot more. It has become like one of my most favorite bags, and it's such a staple. I know it's such a simple bag and it's not as dainty, you know, but it's still it's such a workhorse though. It's not, you know, it's a bag that you can count on when you want to, you know, take stuff with you and when you're traveling and whatnot. Whereas I feel like with the Petit Noe, it feels more ladylike. That's how I described it in my collection video. And it's definitely has more of an edge over the Neverfull, like, you know, you guys said. So it comes down to preference. I can totally see someone using the Noe or the Petit Noe as an everyday bag, as the sturdy, hard-working bag that would serve exactly the same purpose as how I would use my Neverfull. I guess I just favor the Neverfull right like at the moment, because I feel like with the large opening without the zipper to contend with, it actually is very practical. With the Noe, there is slightly more security because you have the draw cord, and honestly that shoulder strap is so comfortable. It's actually really good. So they're kind of equal, so it really boils down to your preference, whether you like to have to, you know, take the time to detach the cord and reach for the things inside, or you just like to be able to open your tote anytime and then throw in stuff or take out stuff. Which one is better to store, a Speedy B25 a dust bag or a drawstring dust bag? You can't really choose which dust bag your essay ends up giving you. They normally just give you the dust bag that comes with the bag, and with the Speedies, as far as I know, or as far as I've bought Speedies, they do come folded. So the Speedies, they tuck in both sides in, and then it becomes like a flat thing, like a flat cookie. And they store it in a flat dust bag, like an envelope flat dust bag. So they would not necessarily be able to provide you with a drawstring one, because according to my essay, they have, you know, like each dust bag comes with their own bags. So unless they have extras for whatever reason, and if you ask them nicely, and if they don't mind giving you a free one, then yeah, in that case you would be able to get one. Jennifer Martinez, love the reveals. You mentioned you have arthritis and need comfy shoes. I don't have arthritis, but I've had foot surgery and need super comfy shoes. Do you have any other recommendations, high-end or not? I just need something good, thank you. For those of you who don't know, you can watch my Get to Know Me video that I always link in the description boxes below. I would describe, you know, my condition and therefore the reason why I do certain things or only buy certain things. And as with shoes, I always, you know, almost always just buy flatter shoes or any shoes that have very short heels. I would define short heels between, well, 0 to 2 inches. 2 inches is still kind of cutting it close. I probably wouldn't be like using them as my walking shoes. But Echo is a brand that I highly recommend. I have like so many Echo shoes. My flats, which are Echoes, I've had them for so many years and I still wear them. The heel part is kind of like shaved on the 2 sides where it pronates, so I don't know, they're still comfortable, so I still wear them. It doesn't always look good with my ensemble, like that doesn't match the rest of my body and my bags, but what can you do? You need to walk. Plus I have flat feet, so depending on the, you know, whether you have a regular arch or a high arch or a flat arch, that also might affect the brands that, you know, might be suitable for you. Echoes has been always the one that has been consistently working well with me. Even their heels, I have most of my heels are from there, and my golf shoes are from there, my flats are from there. Traveling Chin Chin, Amy, can you please make a video on how to tie your ribbon around the clasp of your Pochette Metis? I'm getting mine soon and I want to protect the glazing as much as possible. One of my Q&A videos where I showed how I did this because I was afraid that this clasp, or you know, here would always either rub against the glazing here, or you know, sometimes it just gets stuck underneath and then you pull it, so it ends up making it peel over time. And that was one of the reasons why I tied it like this with the ribbon. And so yes, I can definitely show you how I've done it. I don't think that's the only way you can do it. And anyway, it's, for me, it's still like a temporary thing. I don't like it. I don't like to, you know, modify my bags or embellish my bags, just because I just like the way they come in, as classic as they can be. And to me, that's already modifying them and I don't like it. For now, that's what I decided to do, just like as a temporary measure to sort of try to use my bag with it and see if it will still affect the glazing. So the idea was just to have these 2 corners of the clasp covered, but such that it doesn't affect, you know, the opening of the clasp. That's it. Like, there's really no right or wrong way to do it, I find. But let me show you. Let me just undo it so that maybe you can see how it was done. Your ribbon would normally be a lot longer. I just had to cut it. But here you go. You can see that I just looped it underneath on both sides, honestly. It was just like a simple, there you go. That's it. Like, so you just go back to, because you basically just wanted to cover these two corners here, or I wanted to do that. So there, you've got that. And then I just came back up top and this side too, and I just tied it. And you just tie it like that over here. And like I mentioned before, you can also just, instead of tying it like I did, which was like a really fast temporary solution, you can also try to use other ribbons that are of the same color, like a gold color ribbon, and then you can probably sew it by hand, which would look a little bit nicer. Just be a little bit creative. By no means is this a professional way of preventing it. That's just how I did it. But then again, I just feel like if your glazing was solid enough, then it shouldn't even happen. At least it shouldn't happen within a few wear. That's how I look at it. So I'm hoping that the glazing this time will be more solid than before. I hope that you guys are doing well, and I will try to be more consistent with these types of videos on a weekly basis, or at least I try to, you know, do it more like every 2 weeks, hopefully with my schedule permitting. And so yeah, with that note, I hope you guys are well. Thank you so much all for watching. My name's Amy and I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye.